Hello and welcome to Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary. This is probably the last time for a while that I'm going to be playing 10th Anniversary because I only have one more character to play through on hard difficulty, and that is poster boy Akira Yuki. Since this is the last time, I figured I'd just let you watch me go through all the setup. The game does not save options, so you have to redo your settings each time. Whoop. I already did this one because it's really horribly loud at the default setting, which is all the way up. You'll notice I've lowered it to like, I don't know, 15% sound effect and 7% background music. It's pretty wacky sound levels. So arcade mode is what I'm going to be playing on hard difficulty because I'm a wimp, I guess. There's two routes of preset characters to go through. The VF1 route is playing just characters who appeared in the first Virtua Fighter game, playing against just those characters. The Evolution route is playing against characters, well, it's playing against Akira from Virtua Fighter 1, and then it's playing against the new characters who appeared in succeeding games. So, new characters from Virtua Fighter 2, new character, well, only one of them actually, from Virtua Fighter 3, new characters from Virtua Fighter 4, and then the new characters from Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. So we'll do the VF1 route first. That should do it for that. So I've played through already with everybody, and you can find these videos on my YouTube video archive. Except for Akira, who of course is the main man. Japan, male, blood type O. There's a lot of blood type O's. Kung Fu teacher. Hobby Kung Fu, so it's not just his job, it's also his hobby. I think there's another character like... Anyway, 5'11", which is taller than you would have thought, maybe. Taller than I would have thought. And Hakyuko Ken, they call it here. That'd be the Japanese name. It is a Chinese martial art, so it has an actual Chinese name, which I forget. There's two low poly models for each character. Let's just do the first one first. I'm not sure if VF1 itself actually had two models for each character, but we do now, so cool beans. And even though this is set to hard difficulty, the first three stages, the NPCs in those stages, the AIs, I suppose I should say, don't really do anything. So, oh, I forgot something. Hang on, just one sec. Okay, what I forgot was draping a t-shirt over the top of the screen so I can't see the health bars because, oh gosh. And that's also the reason why, it's the same reason why I'm recording this at only 30 frames per second instead of 60, which is that there's a nasty 60 hertz red and white flickering effect as characters lose health in the health bar. And when I just recorded 30 frames per second, it's just a solid, that reduces it to just a solid color up there instead of this gross rapid flicker, which doesn't do anybody's eyes any good, I don't think. Certainly not mine. I'm a terrible Akira. I don't know how to do any of his moves, really, except for, so, there's like forward punch is his elbow, I can do that. Forward kick is this kind of floaty, come on, that kick, which gets you into real trouble if they block it or if you miss. That's about all of his fancy moves that I know. Otherwise, I just punch and kick awkwardly. I've never been able to do Akira's real moves exactly, which is why I don't usually play him, but just for the sake of completion, I wanted to get through this with Akira. Even the later stages on hard aren't really that hard, so it shouldn't be too much trouble. Also, at least in Virtua Fighter 4, which I just played through with Akira, just his basics and the elbow can generally get him through pretty far. Not against Sarah when she's doing her flamingo, though. Whoa. So far he seems pretty much like he was in 4, although I've never done that little back hop before.
Ready? Go!
There's no command list to pull up in this game. This is, by the way, on the disc of Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, the North American version of Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. You just load up that game on PS2, of course, and in the menu go to Options Special, and well, first Options, and then there will be an item there called Special. It'll ask you if you want to save, and then it'll ask you if you want to run 10th Anniversary. Man, his eyebrow ridges were really standing out there. In other territories, from what I've read on the internet, it did not come out on their Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution disc, like in Japan. I think it was just a retail disc that sold on its own. Oh man, nice one. I've reached stage 4 here, so the NPCs, I don't keep saying that now, the AIs actually do put up a bit of a fight. Starting with Kage here. Oh, see, he's blocking. What's up with that? Come on, Kage. Can't block me. I'm the boss. Oh. This is Virtua Fighter 1 rules. It's Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution characters and animations. In Virtua Fighter 4... Oh yeah, he got me out of the ring. I forgot about that. In Virtua Fighter 1 rules, so stuff like you can't step side to side or dodge side to side. You jumps are these big weird super high floaty things like that. There's no animation for a throw that doesn't connect. So if I stand back and push throw, nothing happens, like I was just doing there, but you couldn't see because nothing happened. Those are kind of the main things. And I first started playing this game because I didn't like sidestepping. And I thought, oh man, a Virtua Fighter without sidestepping, I gotta play this. Since then I've learned to put up with sidestepping, so that's not a huge factor in my thinking anymore. In fact, I mean, you really feel confined when you get pressed back towards the edge of the arena because you can't sidestep away from the edge to get away. You have to go through your opponent basically, or try to jump over them, but that can be difficult. So it does feel a little smothering without being able to sidestep.
Fight one. Ready? Go.
Something else I was talking about and interrupted myself, and now I can't remember what it was. Oh well, couldn't have been that important. Now, one thing I'm neglecting as usual is doing attacks against... Oh, I tried it there. Doing attacks against players or characters who've been knocked down. You have a pretty big window to hit them in this game. Whereas if you try it in Virtua Fighter 4 or probably in 4 Evolution, I don't know, I haven't been playing that lately, or in 5, the AI on the tougher difficulty levels will have ways to avoid it and counterattack you. In this game, it's a pretty much free damage a lot of the time. Pi is probably the character I have the most difficulty with getting through this. So darn fast. Oh, that was cool. He's got counter moves, like I guess that was one. Nice throw too. They reanimate that throw of hers in Virtua Fighter. Actually, in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, I was gonna say 5, but no, they do have to reanimate it in 5 because they redo all the models, but it's pretty much the same in 5. And it looks very subtle, like she barely reaches out from her normal stance. It's just slight move of her hand to get the opponent's wrist, and then ever so subtly tugs them into what becomes a throw, which is super slick, and you can do that if your balance is right. But when they reanimated a lot of throws for Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, they decided to reanimate that, and they made her kind of really go in and just use muscular strength to haul on the opponent's wrist, and it just misses the whole point of the beauty of that original animation. Now, Wolf has lately been maybe my biggest trouble. I had a super hard time getting past him as Pi. I think overall mobility of the characters is lower in Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary. Like, it can be hard just to get out of range of a character who's down on the ground, get out of range of their stand-up kicks. I think dashes are kind of slower. And anyway, so the faster characters probably suffer the most from that, and Pi is one of the faster characters, so that's my excuse. But whatever it was, it took me a long time to beat Wolf as Pi. Akira's more of a slugger, so it's not as bad, I guess. And you'll notice, yeah, I don't know how to play Akira. I'm just spamming the stupid elbow with forward punch.
Fight one.
But like I said, that does get you pretty far. It got me to second Q rank in VF4's Kumite, which was farther than I thought it would get me. Could probably get to... Wait, maybe it got to first Q. Yeah, it did. I think I got to first Q. I could probably get to first Dan if I really tried, and I was trying to get to first Dan because in Virtua Fighter 4, if you get a character to first Dan rank, you unlock one of these Virtua Fighter 1 style low polygon models to use for them in Virtua Fighter 4, which is pretty crazy looking. Oh, I almost had him off, you jerk, you were just teasing me. That was pretty slick, actually. Yosh. So, yeah, that's as clever a fighter as I am with Akira. Oh, I do know one other move. You hit all 3 buttons and he does that. But it doesn't do much damage, at least in 4. I can't tell how much it's doing here because I have a t-shirt over the bar to block the effects, and I didn't know I was on the verge of death.
Ready? Go!
Jeez. Yeah. Oh man, his neck looks so weird when it bends like that.
Fight one.
I'm not sure if these are how similar these are to the actual character models that were used in Virtua Fighter 1. I suspect they're slightly different, but I don't know. because there's no version of Virtua Fighter 1 on my PlayStation consoles, which is a sad oversight if you ask me.
Fight 2.
Virtua Fighter 1, as far as I understand it from reading, ran at a fairly high resolution, higher than this resolution here, actually 480i, which is a gross resolution that was way too much in use on the PS2, but it only ran at 30 frames per second, so in effect, my recording at only 30 is more legit, but it does run at, this recreation does run at 60 on PS2. I should probably try blocking, since I don't seem to be able to outpunch him.
Fight 1. Ready? Go!
Probably stop jabbering away and pay a little attention to getting clobbered. Man, I can't do the elbow because he just... Ugh. Okay.
Fight 2.
Okay, new strategy. New strategy is called for. Oh, that wasn't good. Okay, new strategy's not working. I need a new strategy. That's not working. Oh, that was stupid. What I actually meant to do was just be patient and try to defend and then throw him, but I'm not patient enough.
Ready? Go!
Oh, sweeps. Oh, that was awesome. Uh-oh. Okay, just mixed it up a little more.
Fight 2. Ready? Go!
One thing I can do with Akira is if he punches low and then you're crouching and then you sort of stand up with another punch, if you time it right, he'll do a sort of dash forward punch, which is pretty effective. I didn't time it right.
Fight 3. Ready? Go!
That was it, I think. Huh. Oh, he was ready. Ow. Shit. So elbow spam finally failed. Had to actually work on it a bit there. But now we're at the boss, which is me.
Ready? Go!
Got the elbow in, plus other stuff that I can't do, so this is gonna be rough. That lack of whiff throw animation, I can't deal. That was bad. Alright, this is gonna be rough.
Ready?
I really consider how this might go. I need to be doing down attacks. That wasn't a down attack. I can't usually do a down attack from a throw, however, and in fact, that throw of Akira's is he's really slow to recover from, so it's really hard, even in Virtua Fighter 4, to get out of range of the AI if they wake up fast from that. So he probably could have kicked me there if he'd really wanted to. Now you can't sidestep, but you can side roll when getting up, so that's important. I want to side roll away from the edge. Ah, Oh!
Time's up.
Shoo. So that was the quote-unquote final stage, as it said in the lower right. You'll notice this stage says bonus stage. So Akira was technically the boss. Now we have good old down, up, right, A button, left, which is the code to play as Akira in the original Virtua Fighter, or to play as Akira, to play as Dural in the original Virtua Fighter 1. So Dural is an acronym for the code used to access her from the character select screen in the original. Just a fun little factoid I enjoy repeating. This forward back thing is interesting. I wonder if that is in 4. I couldn't have missed it that long. I think it must be. Oh, what was that? That was a non-throw throw. I hate those. I don't think this back and forth thing was there, and she loves using Akira's attacks. So, yeah, it got me. Since it, oh, his neck. Since it was a bonus stage, you can't continue. But it doesn't actually matter. Either way, you get to this. In place of credits, you just get this scrolling list of all the Virtua Fighter arcade and console games. And in the background are sort of hologram style versions of the final hit you got in each of the fights you just went through. Which I think is taken from Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution's arcade mode, the same style and background scenes, I think. I haven't been playing Evolution. I've been playing this because it doesn't have the flashing effects when you punch people like Evolution does. Virtua Fighter 4 has this light flash effect when you punch people, but you can actually turn it off. I think it might be off by default, although I don't remember. And Virtua Fighter 5 and 5 Final Showdown have that as well, but it's not nearly as bright as it is in Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. And my eyeballs don't like it, so I don't play that game. Speaking of the devil. Oh, I know what I was saying that I interrupted myself on. So, 10th Anniversary came out as a separate disc at retail, I think, in Japan. Not on their version of Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. And then what I read was in Europe, it was only available as a pre-order bonus. And I don't know what it was a bonus for, what game you had to pre-order to get it as a bonus. Probably Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, but that's just a guess on my part. Alright. So that was the VF1 route. And now to the Evolution route. I usually have less trouble with the Evolution route. Because it doesn't have Pi, and it doesn't have Akira, and it doesn't have Wolf, and it doesn't have Lao. So, yeah. So, which I guess means that all these newfangled characters they've come up with recently are softball characters.
Fight 1. Ready? Go!
It's Akira again. There's lots of Akira going on tonight. I should have been able to juggle that. See, you just did a move I can't even do. It's like stage 1 does almost nothing Akira. Still do stuff I don't do. It's just that Akira's move inputs for most of his special moves are really weird. I mean, back when I first got Virtua Fighter 4, I think I did try to do some of his command training or whatever, and it was just, I can't do that stuff. And, like, maybe you could learn, but to me there were other characters you could play that didn't have execution barriers quite that high, so why would I try?
Fight one.
But Akira is a very popular character in like Japanese tournaments to this day, of tournaments of Virtua Fighter games in Japan. He's still one of the main picks,
Excellent.
if not the main pick. I can't remember exactly.
Fight two.
About like the latest Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown tournament over there. He was one of the top 3 characters anyway. I think it was him, Bryant, Jackie Bryant, that's the full name, and then I think Jeffrey. All of those guys can dish out a whole lot of damage in Final Showdown.
Fight one. Ready? Go.
So this is probably the last time I'll be playing 10th Anniversary for the foreseeable future. So I've finished my little playthrough of all the characters on hard through each of the 2 arcade routes. Because that's really all there is to do in single player, and you see it's a bummer because like that the routes are fixed, because for instance Shun-Di here, you can only fight as an AI in this evolution route, but he's on stage 3 every time, and on stage 3 he doesn't really put up a fight, even on hard difficulty or very hard. I've checked. Oh, he almost went off. Oh, he tricked me. So you can't really fight in actual decent Shun-Di in 10th Anniversary. Not the AI anyway. Which is a bummer. As well as the other characters I just went through like they weren't even there because they weren't really.
Ready?
Now we get to characters who fight back a little. This is Aoi, who first appeared in Virtua Fighter 3. Shun and Lion, who I just fought, first appeared in Virtua Fighter 2, so we're working our way forward through the new characters as they showed up in the series in this evolution arcade route.
Ready? Go.
Oh! Dang it. Uh-oh. Oh no. I should learn his, every character has that leaping, like, up or up forward punch attack on down characters, but they also have at least one just straight up, just walk up and, like, punch down at them move, and I think Akira's is just down forward punch, but I should probably be trying that a little more. It's faster. Like there, I could have done it. I hadn't been fooling around. Oh man. I found a bug with Leifei a couple times. If you manage to throw him from behind, sometimes the animation will glitch out. And instead of doing a throw from behind, I've had it twice. Once my character just disappeared off, sort of zipped away off the other side of the screen, off the side of the screen they were on. As they went for the throw, they just suddenly zoomed off screen and then zoomed back on screen on the other side of Leifei and just did a normal throw from there, which was crazy. And then the other time, it was also on a throw from behind against Leifei, and some other weird glitch happened where it switched to doing a... I can't remember what happened. Oh, I think that time... I think I was actually playing Leifei as well, and my Leifei just sort of moved, just clipped right through the AI Leifei, just went right through his body, and then threw him from the front. So I don't know how often, I don't get too many throws from behind on Leifei, so I've tried to reproduce it on purpose and I haven't been able to. But I do have those. If you look up my highlights playlist, you'll see those and those glitches in there.
Ring out.
Bonk. So yeah, aside from these two fixed routes of enemies, there isn't really anything to do. Well, there isn't anything else to do single player. I mean, I could play through them on very hard. I've done that with Go, I think. I don't remember if I went all the way through it. It didn't actually seem that much harder. So I still technically have that to do, but I'm not too interested in doing that. Because I could be playing Virtua Fighter 4 Kumite mode, or Virtua Fighter 5 Quest mode, or Virtua 5 Final Showdown special sparring, and I kind of enjoy those more.
Fight 2. Ready?
I do like how smooth this is, though. I mean, it's just like playing this game just feels incredibly smooth. There's never any like jitter or anything, no flash effects or anything silly like that, except for the stupid health bar, which is actually why that's so extra aggravating. Like, I guess some designer just felt like, oh, there's nothing flashing, we gotta do something about this. Added this horrible flicker into the health bar when characters take damage. That flicker was not there. If you go look up video of, you know, Virtua Fighter 1 or 2 or 3, they did not have, they had the same style green and red health meter, but they did not have any flickering. Oh man. So that is really the one graphical downside in this game. Otherwise, it's super smooth. Man. I don't usually have much trouble with Brad here, even though we are on the second to last stage. Brad first appeared in Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution. Man. I have had trouble with against Brad with a couple characters. I don't remember who else. Ooh, I almost missed my continue. That would have been awkward.
Fight 1. Ready? Go!
Be difficult, Brad. Oh, he's being difficult.
Fight 2. Ready?
Beating me to the punch every time. Yeah, I can't get my elbow off. It's just in my face. I get a little space, I guess. Too late. Also, probably try my crouch punch, rising punch thing. Ah, he's too fast for that. Ugh.
Fight 2. Ready?
That throw is tough strategically too, because it doesn't. I have to back up from it. Oh, that was a different throw. It looked a little weird animation-wise. I should have done a down attack. Ah, shoot. Ugh. Brad. Brad, this is the last time. Can't you just...
Fight 1.
Just give me a pass. Come on. not usually this much of a pain. What's going on? He's gonna miss me. I guess that's what it is. He doesn't want me to go. Harding, Sweet Sorrow, and all that stuff. Oh, that's not it. Oh, that got me into a world of hurt. That sucked.
Fight 2. Ready? Go.
There are a couple differences graphically, aside from resolution and other stuff. Shadows in the first Virtua Fighter and frame rate. Shadows in the first Virtua Fighter were actually just dither effects, like, you know, a checkerboard pattern of white and black, or actually just black and transparent. Instead of this probably 50% transparent shadow effect they use here. There was one other one I just thought of, and then I'm blanking on.
Ready?
Oh, well, a lot of... Oh, you can't even... Well, you can see it here. So the floor here, it's actually a checkerboard. The floor here is a texture, whereas the way they got their patterns, similar patterns on the floor in the actual Virtua Fighter 1, they were all separate polygons, because that game, for the most part, did not have textures. Everything was just flat shaded polygons, so all those squares, each square would have been separate polygon or polygons, I suppose. But they kind of took a shortcut here and just used textures to get similar effect. But it does leave the game a little less sharp than the original, actually. Oh, that's alright. So this was the boss, Go, who also appeared first in Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution along with Brad. And he's not that tough. But we still have the bonus stage to contend with.
Fight 1.
Now I think my trouble was trying to just do my typical elbow spam, which is not going to work against her all because she's too fast. Actually, on normal difficulty, which is what I was playing for a while, Dural was easy because she just didn't defend very well, but on hard she does defend pretty well. So really the only thing I can hit her with consistently is throws after defending, but I got too impatient there. I tried too many attacks. Oh, I was out of range. Barely got away. Oh, it's a wolf. 720 or whatever the heck that is. Oh. Okay, for all the marbles. Well, she knew it too. This is it, Dural. Last dance. Oh no, I got impatient. Oh, I should have thrown. I got impatient. This is not gonna work. Oh, I'm running out of runway. Oh shoot. Oh, she pulled a good one there. Man, that was a total setup, which I fell for. AI is sometimes really mean like that, just pulling a little side reversal trick on a player while they're down. I mean, so she intentionally, well, it was programmed to obviously, but intentionally programmed to jump over me to the other side to make me basically get up facing the wrong way and just be totally at sea. So good on you, Dural. You have chased me away. And that has been Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary, single player wise anyway. You can play versus another player if you have somebody in the room with you and a second controller. This is PS2, so no internet play. Now I'm trying to think, was there like a modem add-on for any PS2 games? There was a hard drive add-on for a couple things. One of the Final Fantasies or whatever. I don't remember there being a modem. I sure didn't have one. Did have a modem for my old Dreamcast, but that was kind of a half generation later.
Game over.
It sure is over. 10th anniversary. Thank you for playing. You are not quite a real Virtua Fighter game, although really, I mean, for just a little anniversary game, it's pretty impressive. It's got its quirks. You might even say some bugs. But you know, if you just want to goof around with this sort of weird Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution in Virtua Fighter 1 setting thing, it's kind of fun. And if you already have Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, it's right there on the disc for you. You just got to go to Options Special. I don't do that here because it switches resolution when you switch between the games, and it freaks out my capture device, so I can't really do that. But and if you want to go back to Evolution, you just go to Return here. I, on the other hand, will be returning to Virtua Fighter 5 next, where I'll try Akira in quest mode. I don't think it'll go much farther than I've been able to go with him in, say, Kumite and Virtua Fighter 4, because I don't imagine they'll make his attacks too much more intuitive in 5 than they have been so far. I noticed in Final Showdown that they did give him some more attacks on punch plus kick buttons, but that isn't really a thing until Virtua Fighter Final Showdown. Up until then, you have maybe one attack on punch plus kick buttons. And in 4, it was this weird little thing I didn't even understand, so I don't know, I didn't even try it here, I totally forgot. So I don't think they'll have that ready to go in 5, so I'll probably just have to be trying the elbow again, just elbow. But who knows, that's why I'm kind of going through all these things in chronological order to see what happens with the characters as the games evolve, shall we say. And then after that, I'll just have Akira to play in Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, and I'll be done with my first playthrough of all the characters in all these games, except for Virtua Fighter 2, which I do have on PS3, and I only play that with Jackie because all the other characters have to go through this nasty flickering lightning flash stage against Sarah in arcade mode, whereas when Jackie and Sarah meet, they fight on their own like urban back alley Chicago stage, and that doesn't have lightning flashes in it, so I can play Jackie in VF2, but that's about it. But yeah, I've played through everybody, and I've weeded out a couple characters as characters I'm not interested in continuing to play, and that's Eileen and Lei Fei. Will probably be joined by Akira because I'm just not advanced enough to do his stuff. Maybe someday after I've learned all the other characters, I'll be up to Akira. But for now, I doubt it. But never know what could happen when I try him in 5 and Final Showdown here. I made 3 pretty fun costumes for him in Final Showdown, which I just posted a video of me making the first one, which is sort of a imitation Guile, the Street Fighter character. I sort of made Akira into a sort of Guile. I mean, he's got the blonde hair sticking straight up, and he's got camouflage pants and little gloves and boots. And then two others that I didn't get to show because my capture session glitched out, and I didn't realize it until 3 hours later. Well, 2 hours after the glitch. So I missed that showing the other costumes, which I will show though when I actually get to playing for real Z's in 2 videos from now, Akira in Final Showdown. But next is Akira in 5 Vanilla in quest mode, and this is probably the last time again I'll be playing Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary. Thank you, Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary. You're just this free little game on the North American version of Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, which was already like I think it just retailed, VF4 Evolution retailed for like $20 or something, so it's all a pretty good deal. Check out, and I sold all my 3D PS2 games when I moved a year or two ago, because I thought I was done with 3D, and then I discovered that, well, Virtua Fighter is one of the few fighting games I can actually play that isn't filled with bright flashing effects that bother my eyes and give me headaches. So I'm back on Virtua Fighter. I had to rebuy Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution so I could play 10th Anniversary, and my disc has, maybe somebody out there will be able to tell me what this means. My VF4 Evolution disc, which I just bought a caseless one, it's just the disc itself. Somebody wrote on it in marker, capital C, period, capital A, period, capital S, period. So, if anybody out there knows what that is, let me know. I haven't tried looking this up on the internet, so this is probably a huge mistake. But that is the mystery. But I picked it up off eBay for like $2 or something, so if you just want to goof around with 10th Anniversary, you can probably find a pretty cheap version of VF4 Evolution, at least in the North American version on eBay. And don't bother getting any other region version, because 10th Anniversary is only on the North American region VF4 Evolution, just to make sure I'm clear on that. So you do need the North American version. Otherwise, if you're in a different region, you actually have to find the standalone Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary for your region, which it sounds like are a little hard to come by because they weren't made in large quantities. From what I read, I could be totally wrong. I have no idea. So, for me, fare ye well. 10th Anniversary. You've been a 10th Anniversary party. It's been interesting. Smooth graphics. I like that part. I like this menu music. I like the goofy low polygon characters and stages and all that stuff. I don't so much like the big floaty jumps and no throw with animations, and what's the other little bugaboo I have? Well, that you're just playing arcade mode with fixed enemies, and you don't even get to play all of them actually playing hard against you and all that stuff. But you know, for a freebie, I'm not gonna complain seriously. It was fun to goof around with. Good times with 10th Anniversary. From now on, though, as far as Virtua Fighter games go, for me, it's gonna be Virtua Fighter 4, Virtua Fighter 5, and Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. I sure wish Final Showdown had a more of a quest mode style mode in it. But special sparring, you've got 20 teams of 5 to 10 customized AI characters, which, if you think about it, and you can play them on any difficulty, so that's probably not too far off the character count that you would get, say, on the highest difficulty of a quest mode or a kumite in the previous game. So technically it's comparable, but it just doesn't have that feeling of being in a prolonged adventure and all that stuff. Not quite the same, but you do get to make costumes. I'll have some Akira costumes to show. That'll be a hoot. It'll make me look weird as I probably get owned trying to repeatedly spam the elbow move. So if you're into that kind of thing, stay tuned. Next up I'll be doing that in Virtua Fighter 5. And then Final Showdown, that's the next 2 Virtua Fighter videos coming from me. And thanks for your patience, and thanks to all you Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary fans out there for watching this video. When I was first looking into this, there really weren't that many Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary videos on YouTube. So hopefully these videos I made will at least be useful in the regard of documenting the game a little bit, albeit people have to listen to my droning on, which is too bad. Too bad for them. So thanks to everybody for watching these Virtua Fighter 10th Anniversary character playthroughs on hard, and those are now complete with Akira Yuki having done his thing. So that's it. And we'll just go out remembering 10th Anniversary this way. It's a quirky game with fun stuff to do and a weird sense of style and cool menu music. Alright, adios.